followed by worship services at 11 and 6. And now, A Minute of Vision with Dr. Roger Patterson.
Eric's 7 Men. This is Roger Patterson with A Minute of Vision for Life. Eric Metaxas, New York Times bestselling author, wrote a book called 7 Men and the Secret of Their Greatness. He tells the story of 7 great men in history. These are men like George Washington, Eric Liddell, and Dietrich Bonhoeffer. He says of these men, I was looking for 7 men who had all evinced one particular quality, that of surrender of themselves to a higher purpose, of giving something away that they may have kept. Greatness in men comes from the heart that is willing to sacrifice. One who has this heart and leads with this heart is a candidate for greatness. John 15:13, Jesus says there is no greater love than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. These were his words, but also his actions. Living this out, I believe, begins at home by serving our wife and kids, and then is done in the way we live in community.
You've been listening to Dr. Roger Patterson with A Minute of Vision at visionforlife.org.
Fox Sports Trending now.
News from the NFL, where Patriots wide receiver Antonio Brown has been accused of sexual assault in a civil lawsuit filed by his former trainer. Brown's lawyer says the receiver and his accuser were involved in a consensual relationship. Patriots say the allegation, and there's a report the league is going to launch. In baseball news, the Milwaukee Brewers have lost reigning NL MVP Christian Yelich for the season. He fouled a pitch off his right knee last night and suffered a fractured kneecap. On the field, Dodgers clinched their 7th straight NL West title with a 7-3 win over the Orioles. Cubs fall to the Padres 9-8 in 10 innings. Brewers beat the Marlins 4-3. Diamondbacks lose to the Mets 3-2, and the Phillies get by the Braves 6-5. Chicago's lead for the second wildcard spot in the National League is at 1 game on Milwaukee, 2 on Philadelphia, and 2.5 on Arizona. A's over the Astros 21-7. Indians shut out the Angels 8-0. I'm Eddie Garcia.
We are Buckmore.
K105 weather is brought to you by the 3 Grayson County locations of the Sicilian Bank.
Twin Lakes weather. Morning clouds give way to afternoon sunshine, and we're talking near record high temperatures again this afternoon. Our record for the day, by the way, is 97 degrees. We see a small chance for an isolated shower or two this afternoon, but most will be dry tonight, falling down to near 70. From the Wave 3 News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrew.
This is In the Know for Wednesday, September 11, the 254th day of 2019. There are 111 days left in the year. Good morning, MB, guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station 103.9 The Moose, live online at K105.com, on Facebook Watch, on YouTube, live online at K105.com, the Apple and Android smartphone app, the SoundCloud or iTunes podcast, or the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, of course, a commemoration of Patriots Day, 18 years removed from the tragic day on September the 11th. We will also cover the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. We will also try to have some normal content for you today, including the water cooler question. We have that and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Beej is over there to my left, and Misty is over there to my right. Good morning, ladies. Welcome.
Good morning.
Patriots Day, always, I must tell you, and I think I say it each Patriots Day, I never quite know how to be on September the 11th. As the years go by, 18 years ago today, but still somehow taken back to the tragic day. In your case, Beej, 18 years ago today, you didn't become a flight attendant.
I did not.
Right? As you had planned to do that day. Yes. You had an interview, as you've said many times before, but plans were changed that day. And in your case as well, and well, both of your cases, was heard Barry Cannon say on Sunday that we all have children now that have never known America at peacetime. Mm-hmm. You know, it's since just a couple of weeks after the attack on September the 11th, President Bush then got the authorization to go in and go track down those people who were responsible for attacking us. And we've been in a constant state of war since then. And so it's the longest wartime period in American history. And it's we've just gone along with that, but it's still hard to, I guess, hard to take a step back and look at the number of years that it's been that we've been fighting this global war on terror and no signs of stopping.
No.
Unfortunately.
I don't think evil has slowed its hand across the world in any way, shape, or form. In fact, it seems to be increasing. I remember when President Bush said, if we don't eradicate the Taliban, something worse could come along. And I remember thinking, what worse could come along? And then there's ISIS.
There's ISIS, and I guess oddly enough, you know, the president took some flack for it over the last few days. I don't know if it's the right thing or the wrong thing, but was entertaining the idea of meeting with the Taliban at Camp David to discuss the situation and our global situation. And just hard to imagine 18 years later, we could have imagined having a meeting at Camp David with the people who were, you know, partly responsible and outgrowths of that. So it's a dynamic situation. I was also listening on my way in this morning to the retrospective that Rick and Bubba play every year on the anniversary of 9/11, and just kind of as an odd sort of footnote, my first experience. So if you heard that, it was about 7:30 this morning and lasts till about 7:45. And it's a retrospective of the way it unfolded the morning of September the 11th on their program. And so it crams the chronology of a morning into about 12 to 13 minutes, and it has praise music behind it, and it's a moving piece, and and I'm moved by it every time I hear it. Kind of not for nothing, my first experience, my first access, the day I became aware of the Rick and Bubba show was the 1 year anniversary after 9/11. So in September 11th of 2002, I heard that retrospective as I was traveling through Alabama, and then come to find out later needed to look at programming. But it was that retrospective that connected me to them at that time, and now 17 years down the road, and you know, still a feature of our station every morning, and still hearing that retrospective 18 years later after it happened that morning. So it's just you know, when the old "where were you?" you know that, and we're losing the generation of people now who remember where they were December 7th of 1941. But many of us remember where we were September 11th, 2001. But now we have the next generation of kids that weren't with us September 11th, 2001.
Right.
And it's just, maybe young people wonder why we make a big deal of it today. Well, this is our December 7th. You know, for our forefathers and foremothers that helped us make sure we remembered what happened in Pearl Harbor, it's our job to make sure that future generations remember. The sad thing, perhaps the saddest commentary to me, is that if you remember the weeks, I heard a lady say this morning, we weren't sure the world wasn't ending that morning.
I heard her say that as well.
And it's sure, we didn't quite know. For a long time, we didn't know what was going on, what this was. At first, for the first half hour or so, it looked like an accident. And then it immediately was like, no, this is no accident. So we weren't sure how far it was going to go and how elaborate a plan that it was. I heard, I was reminded this morning, they said that had the attackers that day had access to a nuclear weapon, they would have used it.
Yeah. How terrifying
that
is
day.
that?
So, I mean, they did what, as much as they felt like they could do. Imagine had it been worse. But the outpouring, the churches were full the following weeks, right? You couldn't find a seat. It was the folding chairs in the middle of the aisle, and we've just gotten away from that 18 years later. And just everybody's just kind of gone back to we remember on a day like today, and we think, hey, yeah, that was really bad, but we've strayed so far away from, the
thing that I remember the most, feeling the most proud about, was the way that we all came together and celebrated America. We loved our flag. We loved our Constitution. We loved our Lady Liberty. We loved everything we were as a body of people. We became one in a moment, and there was such beauty in that unity. And now to get 18 years past and to see the discord in our great nation hurts my heart tremendously.
Yeah, and you would be really sad to think that it would take another event like that
and
to rally people together, and that's sad. It shouldn't take
it
that.
Shouldn't take that.
It shouldn't take
and,
that.
And our generation is still alive who witnessed this. We should still remember and cling to each other and find a place of unity again.
A ceremony underway at the Pentagon. Right now, the president just finished speaking. There will be, of course, ceremonies at Ground Zero today in downtown Manhattan, where those who gave their lives in the September 11th attack, where their names will be read, as they are each and every September the 11th. There's also some special programming on your various television channels this evening as a commemorative that we'll talk about later on in the program, in case you want to find some new information. There's a new documentary about some high school students who were 3 blocks away that day, and it's on HBO. I'll tell you about it later on in the program. But plenty of other news and content to get to today. The warm temperatures will continue. In Louisville yesterday, they broke that record, 123-year-old record. They broke it. They hit 99 degrees yesterday in Louisville, and broke a record from 1897, I guess it was, something like that. And there will be no relief for us in sight. It will be, we'll have highs in the 90s until Tuesday, it looks like. So maybe Tuesday will be the first time we get a high, and it'll be 88 on Tuesday. So September not going quietly. Maybe in the 90s until we get to...
There's no slow fade about that. I have a feeling we're going to get out of the pool one night, go to bed, and get up to snow the next morning. Like there's going to be no fall.
We learned yesterday morning that 18th District State Representative Tim Moore has resigned his district House seat. As of yesterday, he has been serving as the representative for Grayson and Hardin counties for that area, that district, since 2007. He issued a formal statement, which you can read about at K105.com. Says that, various things. You can go read it for yourself. But he did say it is reassuring to know that many folks really are determined to do what is right and best for Kentucky. He said, our best leaders adhere to the principles that were handed down to us from our forebears and seek to unite instead of divide. House Speaker David Osborne was talked about that Moore was an integral member of the House Majority Caucus and praised his tenure as a committee chairman. He was overseeing the Veterans Committee as a veteran himself. And now Governor Bevin has called for a special election, which will take place November 5th, which coincides with the same date that the statewide offices will be decided. Tim Moore urged that the special election coincide with the general election to prevent unnecessary additional polling costs in his district. So it's the second vacancy in the 100-member House. Diane Onge, O-N-G-E, she announced her resignation this summer after she was moving to California. So I believe there's a reference in there as well that Tim Moore, Representative Moore, is pursuing something in the ministry And so I have a feeling that I know Tim's been very active in the community in his time, and a lot of people grateful for his service to the community. A large garage fire in Big Clifty has destroyed 5 vehicles and resulted in ammunition being set off as firefighters battled the blaze this morning at 12:10. The East Grayson and Clarkson fire departments responded to the garage fire on Morrison Road. And if you're watching with us on Facebook Watch or on YouTube or on Periscope, you may be hearing some of the crackling, including the ammunition, which would be discharging as a result of the fire. Firefighters found a detached garage containing 5 vehicles, a new truck fully engulfed in flames. There was .22 caliber ammunition, and they battled the blaze for over 2 hours. The garage was a total loss. A Clarkson man has been injured in a truck versus motorcycle accident on Grayson Springs Road this morning about 4:30. First responders found a Yamaha motorcycle near 6,000 Grayson Springs Road being driven by a 42-year-old Sherman Miller. It was struck in the rear after Miller nearly came to a stop to allow 3 deer, 2 of which were in the road, to cross the roadway. Traveling behind Miller in a Chevy Silverado was 31-year-old Garrett Gibson of Clarkson, who was unable to stop before striking the vehicle. Miller declined to be transported by EMS, but complained of having trouble breathing and was taken to Twin Lakes Regional by private means. Officials with the Kentucky State Police say a new victim advocacy program will provide needed support for crime victims. A statement from the Justice and Public Safety Cabinet says details of the statewide initiative are being announced tomorrow at the State Police Post in Elizabethtown. Officials say 16 advocates are being hired and trained to assist crime victims and those involved with critical incidents by providing support during and after a crisis. Sounds like a valuable resource to have. Attorneys for Governor Bevin have filed a request with the Kentucky Supreme Court Chief Justice John Minton to have Franklin Circuit Judge Philip Shepard removed from hearing the teacher sick-out lawsuit. The notice requesting a special judge was filed yesterday on behalf of Labor Secretary David Dickerson, who is listed as the defendant in the case in which Attorney General Andy Beshear and the Jefferson County Teachers Association are the plaintiffs. The lawsuit was filed after the state labor cabinet subpoenaed the records of around 10 school districts, which had to shut down for at least one day due to teacher sick-outs who were protesting proposed changes in the public system during the 2019 assembly. Jefferson County had to cancel classes for 6 days as a result. Now, I don't know if you've spent a lot of time drilling down on the genesis of this as far as why it's been referred to the Supreme Court, but it comes down to a Facebook like. Is that something was posted in regard, a Facebook post was made by someone supportive of A.G. Beshear's suit in this case, and Judge Shepard liked it. So that gave the defendant side, that gave them the perspective to say, well, we need to ask you to remove yourself because you have expressed a like. And then Judge Shepard in his courtroom said, likes are likes. I have liked things that the governor has posted before and been supportive of that socially on Facebook, so I'm not going to recuse myself from this case. And they said, well, we'll go ask the Supreme Court about it and we'll see. I will tell you, I've known multiple judges. I know multiple people in leadership positions of law enforcement agencies and things. It's always been my recommendation, avoid the social media waters. I think there's some professions that you probably should just stay away from because you're a little too accessible. It's hard for a judge to have courtroom hours when people are inboxing them at 11:30 at night because they're in the middle of some situation that they need a referee for.
I think it's hard, though, as a judge, when you have to come into a courtroom and listen to the evidence presented, and then you have to take the letter of the law and apply the letter of the law. If you are on social media and you are accessible to everybody and their version of the story, I feel like you are contaminating the water some. I listened to an hour interview this morning with Antonin Scalia, and he's probably one of my favorite justices to listen. And he was talking about exactly what a judge does. and if it's to evaluate the law and then to apply the law. And I think that would be hard to do if you are swimming in contaminated waters of social media.
Yeah, and I know judges, chiefs of police, sheriffs, school superintendents. They are people, and they have their own lives, and they want to connect with people. I'm just telling you that I know the messages that we get in the middle of the night. So I can only imagine what it must be for judges,
lawyers, doctors,
teachers, doctors.
Right.
Like we know the crazy stuff that we get, and there's not even anything we can do about it.
Surprisingly, we do not call off school. We don't make that decision.
They changed that policy last year.
But I
It was
do
new
appreciate
state law.
the people give us the power to do such.
Federal, state, and local health officials are investigating an outbreak of severe pulmonary disease associated with e-cigs. The CDC says as of September 6th, there have been 450 cases associated with e-cigs in 33 states, including Kentucky, 5 deaths in California, Illinois, Indiana, Minnesota, and Oregon. This is a real head-scratcher for folks. The juxtaposition of this is this. If you grew up in perhaps the 50s, 60s, 70s, and even into the 80s, and you grew up in this part of the country, you had a 50-50 shot of being a smoker. Okay?
Yeah, at least.
All right. So I'm just
by the age of 10 is what you meant to say.
That's perhaps conservative, right?
That's the rest of the sentence.
So yeah, it could have gone either way, but the percentage is very high.
Right.
Smoking
Sadly.
tobacco doesn't kill you in 6 months. It kills you in 2 decades, 3 decades, etc. But isn't it odd that this smoking alternative that the consumer market went to, that kids are now using, is killing kids in 6 months and in 1 year, and it's a head scratcher. Like, I don't know how many deaths it's going to take for kids to go, I'm not picking that up. I mean, just don't do it.
But it's the human race. We do things, and then science catches up with it and goes, oh, data has proved out, or science has proven that we were wrong about that.
But they've not even been able to come up with a real solid hypothesis on what exactly is causing it, because how it affects some kids one way and it doesn't affect kids in another way. And my point is, listen, you can get into some bad in a hurry. Just don't do it. You don't know how you're going to react to it.
When you're ingesting things into your body that are synthetic or chemically made, it's just terrifying to me.
Kentucky linebacker Josh Paschal, who missed most of last season while being treated for skin cancer, is one of the first 3 nominees for college football's Comeback Player of the Year award. So some of the accolades for Kentucky's football program are continuing this week after their victory over Eastern Michigan. It took a while, but Xavier Peters got the answer he was looking for yesterday. The Kentucky outside linebacker and Florida State transfer was cleared to play this season by the NCAA as of yesterday. So he'll be a welcome benefit to the Kentucky defense. And the UK basketball television times, for the most part, have been set for the upcoming season. The SEC rolled out their schedule. A lot of the non-conference is already out there, so you can also read about that online. Michigan State awaits the Cats on November 5th in the Champions Classic. That game won't tip until 8:30 Central Time on November 5th, which is also Election Day. So it'll be a late night for election results and for Cat fans. But Louisville awaits the Cats on December the 28th. That will be a 4:15 p.m. Central start time. So you can read about all those online and get ready for It's Hard to Believe. There's still 10 basketball games to go, 10 football games to go, but basketball season already looming. We got to get to a break. It's Patriots Day today. We're commemorating events that happened 18 years ago today in our country, but we have plenty more ahead coming up here on In the Know.
At Litchfield Pediatrics, we don't just love our community, we love yours too. Serving surrounding counties from Warren to Hardin, our growing network of physicians and professionally trained staff provide the best in pediatric care. Now offering new online appointment requests, available 24/7 and can be accessed by visiting our Facebook page. Give us a call at 270-259-5641 or stop by our new facility located at 901 Wallace Avenue. Litchfield Pediatrics, providing the best in pediatric care.
Today, successful small businesses are lean, portable, and focused. If you're running your own business, you need to stay in tune to your customers, vendors, and employees. That doesn't leave much time for processing payroll and reporting, much less the overall performance of your business. The firm of Buckles, Travis, and Hart has a full offering of services for small businesses. Payroll processing, tax liability, unemployment, and financial reporting, just to name a few. Think of them like a built-in business manager, but they don't get sick and they don't ask for time off. Call or contact today to help get your business focused across the board. Buckles, Travis, and Hart, 270-259-5604, GraysonCPAs.com.
Some people just have a knack for being there when you need them the most. Like your third grade classmate who sticks up for you against that bully. The neighbor who gives you a jump start. And the friend who chases away that flock of geese at your outdoor wedding. Your State Farm agent has your back too, through good times and the not so good. And who's got your agent's back? State Farm, the company people have trusted for more than 90 years. We're here to help life go right.
See State Farm agents Carter Harrell and Dale Woosley in Litchfield today.
Louisville, Kentucky, Louder Than Life returns September 27th through the 29th. Highland Festival grounds at the Kentucky Expo Center with Guns N' Roses, Slipknot, Disturbed, Rob Zombie, Godsmack, Marilyn Manson, plus Stain and Ice Cube. Go to louderthanlifefestival.com for all ticket and lineup information. Louder Than Life.
Hey, is that a pumpkin spice latte?
Maybe.
Someone is clearly excited for fall.
Hey, don't judge. Besides, who doesn't love fall? The hay rides, the cute fuzzy boots, the $120 you can save on any smartphone at Bluegrass Cellular.
$120 off? That's a deal I can cozy up to.
I know. It's the perfect time to save on any smartphone, even the latest and greatest models. It's the best way to kick off the fall season.
The fall season hasn't begun yet, dear.
Ha! Well played. It doesn't change the fact that I've been waiting for this all year.
The smartphone deals or the pumpkin spice latte?
Both, honey. Both.
Restrictions apply. Offer available online or in store.
Bluegrass Cellular. Your community. Expanded.
To coincide with the start of the NFL season, Verizon is rolling out 5G connectivity in 13 NFL stadiums around the country. At some of the venues, including the Jets MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, the stadium is the only local place a consumer with a 5G phone can experience the next-gen network. Verizon has launched 5G in parts of 10 cities so far, with the goal of reaching 30 markets by the end of the year. The Alliance of Automobile Manufacturers is committing to making rear seat reminder systems standard equipment on almost all passenger vehicles sold in the country by 2025. The announcement follows a particularly deadly stretch this summer, with 10 children dying in heated cars in just 20 days. Google is adding personalized show recommendations to search. So now when you type in good movies to watch, Google will offer up curated suggestions based on what you search and take into account which streaming services you subscribe to. Tech Report, Larry Olson.
Oh my God. Look behind us. Please pan in this way, please. This is it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Freedom and fear, justice and cruelty have always been at war. And we know that God is not neutral between them.
Whatever the dangers of the action we take, the dangers of inaction are far, far greater.
Half hour later, we see the second one bang into
Something else just hit. A very large plane just flew directly over my building, and there's been another collision.
They hate our freedoms, our freedom of religion, our freedom of speech.
Oh, you are, Kate? Listen, we got a female officer down. We need a search.
How can they possibly justify using naked force
to crush a people who ask for nothing more than the right to lead their own lives in freedom and dignity.
There's no words to describe what's going on out there. I mean, you see bodies just coming a half hour later, still coming out of the damn sky.
Because the greatest rebuke we can offer to those who attack our way of life is to demonstrate clearly we are not cowed in any way whatsoever.
Where was your last location? Where was your last location? Talk to us.
These terrorists kill not merely to end lives, but to disrupt and end a way of life.
Stay down. Yeah. Come on. Tell me, what floor you on? You got a female officer down, possibly on the 3rd floor on the 2nd tower.
Brute force may intimidate, but it cannot form the basis of an enduring society.
In all that lies before us, may God grant us wisdom, and may He watch over the United States of America.
Today is Patriots Day, of course, and looking back on the events of 18 years ago today, September 11th, 2001, I was watching, of course, a lot of the national coverage this morning and listening to various sources, and one of the journalists commented she happened to be part of that classroom that's in the documentary series tonight on HBO that we'll tell you about. And she said, my story is, and then she paused, she said, my story is just one of millions of stories. Everyone has a story on where they were that day, if you were, of course, on the face of the earth at that point in time. Today's Patriots Day, as we mentioned, 9/11 Remembrance Day, known around the world. Here in the United States, we call it specifically Patriot Day. It's emergency number day today, because 911, that predates the events of 18 years ago, but odd that it was that it happened on that date. And I also noticed that it was no news is good news type of day, where sometimes it's good to just escape and get away and not have to go through the processes of figuring all that out. For the better part of 2 weeks, the limit of my news was about a hurricane named Dorian, and it was welcome. So, I mean, not the hurricane,
right?
But the ability to just not have to worry about other things that are going on or other events and things such as that. So it's been sort of nice. Some of the other headlines around the country, but this one happens to be closer to home. A Kentucky woman was arrested Sunday after she allegedly stole a school bus and drove it while intoxicated. 35-year-old Teresa Wells of Kaywood was arrested Sunday morning after she stole a school bus from Kaywood Elementary School and drove it around the area in a reckless manner. An employee with Harlan County Schools stopped Wells and the bus on the state road and asked her what she was doing. The director of transportation for Harlan County Schools said that Wells claimed to be a state transportation office employee who was test driving the bus.
She looks very proud of her work.
Right?
She,
in her mugshot.
Yeah. Michael Cox is the director of the transportation there. He's their Braxton.
Oh, well, gotcha.
Michael Cox is their Braxton.
Mm-hmm.
We got our own Braxton. They got one. His name's Michael.
Sometimes the mugshots say so much. Like a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Sure. Yeah, you got
Either
it.
that or she finds the guy taking her mugshot cute.
A Tennessee high school is apologizing after administrator had the bathroom mirrors painted over because so many students were late to class. Students and parents from Central High School in Chattanooga complained after the mirrors in the school's bathrooms were painted over so they couldn't be used. On Friday, the principal left a school-wide voicemail and sent an email saying the paint had been removed. The district says an administrator at the high school told a worker to paint the mirrors. They are not identifying who that administrator or staff member is. Oh, come on, that's no fun. The district says the school took such measures because students spend too much time in the bathroom rather than in class. I don't think it's the primping.
No.
I don't think they're using the mirrors.
I don't think it's the primping that is causing them to get detained in the bathroom.
So now, 2 days in a row, we've had the doors taken off stalls so they can't vape.
Mm-hmm.
And now they can't look in the mirror.
No, they can't primp.
The song is not primping in the boys' room.
That's correct. That's correct. It is not. Another school headline, an Ohio grandmother says she was left in tears after finding out that her grandson was humiliated in front of his schoolmates when lunchroom staff took away his lunch on his 9th birthday due to a, quote, misunderstanding. On August 30th, the little boy who lives with his grandmother, Diane, came home with a note saying that his lunch account was in the negative by $9. She subsequently called the school to sort out the issue. However, on the following Tuesday, he came home and told his grandmother that he had the worst birthday ever because a lunch lady took away his food in front of his schoolmates. We're not supposed to do this, right? I mean, I understand. Of course, I guess we don't have that problem so much around here any longer, but I don't think the school employee knew that it was his birthday, and that adds insult to injury in this case. But even if it had happened the day before his birthday or the day after his birthday,
any day, any kid,
it's probably not his fault. Although I will tell you, there were times in my childhood when it was on me that I did not get the check to the cafeteria.
I have Facebook posts over the years of, oh, no wonder the school kept insisting on calling me and leaving voicemails. Look at all the checks in the kids' coat pockets that never got there.
Right.
I just don't think you do that directly to the child.
No, absolutely
that is
not.
wrong to me.
Yeah, it probably wasn't going to break the school. But here's what I would tell you is I am a fan of effective discipline that gets attention to modify behavior. I don't think it requires hands. I don't think it always requires a spanking. I don't think it always requires a grounding. I don't think right? There are creative ways to get attention to go, oh yeah, I better do that different next time. Mm-hmm. Go take the mamaw's lunch away. Yes. Right? If you think that there's a problem with the lunch account, most likely it's not the student. In my case, it was always the student. I was the one who couldn't get the check that was in a Ziploc bag. Right? It was made out to Caneyville Elementary School.
That's the problem. I never put it in a Ziploc bag.
However much the money was, it was in the Ziploc bag.
You know, Tita Mama
it was signed, right?
So
my mother and her pretty signature
whatever.
is right there. Make sure this gets to the lunchroom. Okay, got it. No problem. But it was never her fault. It was my fault that I couldn't get it to Miss Cockrell.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah. So it's a lost in the trapper keep it, Tita.
That's right. It was somewhere, but not her fault. It was my fault. But generally, it's not probably the kid's fault. Or if it is the kid's fault, go to the mama and say, and if she says, oh, I'm not doing anything about it, then take her lunch away. Well, but don't take the kid's lunch away.
You could, so they on their screens, they have record of what the account looks like. Even 25 years ago when I graduated high school, you had to give a number, like 0553. And then that was your number, and they pulled up your account, and then they would let you go or they would require money from you. Tell that child then, has mama given you a check? Do you have lunch money somewhere? We need to get this straightened out. Mm-hmm. But don't take his lunch away.
As you've heard me tell several times, it was my negligence of not being able to get the check to the cafeteria that I innovated. I was resourceful. I heard other kids yelling free, so I decided to just, if free works, free it is.
You're right.
Free. No. Come back here, young man. So, but yeah, we kicked it old school. Our lunch cards actually had a number on them. So when you bought a new lunch card, a lunch ticket,
yes,
it had X number of punches on it, and that was good until it was punched out. And then you had to go get another one.
Yeah. Well, and you can get online and pay. There's just so many ways to do that. But and here's the thing. We know that kids deal with hangry issues.
Mm-hmm.
Not
just kids.
Feed the child and spare the teacher. And that may be the only meal that child gets today.
We are closing in. Spring cleaning, of course, is a big deal. But is fall cleaning a big deal? There are a lot of us who have been.
Is spring cleaning a big deal?
Well,
I'm sorry.
In some households, it apparently is. But
we're not familiar, but call in and let us know how that works.
A lot of us have been outside, or we've been at the lake, or we've been away, or we've been whatever for 4 or 5 months. And now we need to be ready to occupy the house for the fall and winter months. So clean, dusty ceiling fans. Scour your refrigerator's secret spots. Well, I didn't know ours had secret spots until last week when there was a big refrigerator clean out, and I thought, wow, the lights are suddenly brighter in the refrigerator. Yeah, because there's not so much stuff in here.
It's not crowded any longer.
Get rid of surface clutter, change your bedding.
I just did this this week. Yeah, so I'm killing it and didn't even know it.
Scrub the barbecue. Winterize your garden hose, remove lint from the dryer, tidy your home office, organize kitchen cabinets, check the chimney, and declutter your home's entryway.
I'm one for how many?
I think it was 11.
Hey, got 10 left.
1 for 11.
I'll get to those before next week.
Chocolate Twinkies are back for a limited time this fall, and they've gotten a Halloween makeover. So if you like Twinkies and you like chocolate, then perhaps it's a marriage made in heaven.
Well, I'm willing to try it.
Home Goods is selling candy corn scented Halloween candles. So I don't like candy corn unless it has peanuts in it, right? And that mix that you all do, which is the Payday Bar. Mm-hmm. That's about the only time I like it. And this jumped out at me. If you have a 3, 4, 5-year-old in your house, you will know that this little tidbit does not come as a surprise. The average 4-year-old asks 437 questions a day.
Is that all?
The average 4-year-old asks
we're running high.
437 questions per day.
No, that's daytime. How many at night?
Yeah, it doesn't count the nighttime. We got to get to a break. It's Patriots Day today, commemorating 9/11. We've got today's water cooler question. Your chance to win is coming up here on In the Know.
For the service that satisfies, Big O Tires in Elizabethtown, Radcliffe, Litchfield, and Hardinsburg are the tire and service stores you can trust. At Big O Tires, we're proud to have a mechanic on duty to meet your tire and service needs. Save on the area's best selection of Big O tires and major brands. Brands like Michelin, Goodrich, Goodyear, and Cooper. Big O Tires offers express lane service. For the best service in Kentucky, it's Big O Tires. Now for some spectacular service specials, listen to these deals.
$10 off any Extreme battery. $10 off full synthetic oil change. $15 off alignment. Buy one, get one wiper blade.
$50 off brakes. $20 off any flush kit. $50 off a set of Big O brand tires.
Low on cash? There's no credit check and payments are available. $50 down and drive away today. The team you trust in Elizabethtown, Radcliffe, Litchfield, Hardinsburg.
Don't wait. Stop in today.
Consumers in Litchfield and surrounding areas are getting smart about the vehicle they're driving by getting customized auto financing, personalized dealer service, and multi-point inspected pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. What are you looking for in your next vehicle? A vehicle to haul the family around? A sporty car? A heavy-duty truck? Maybe you want to stay within a certain price range and want a financing plan with low monthly payments. At AutoSmart, new inventory is being delivered every week. You'll only find high-quality vehicles that have undergone multi-point inspections on our lot. The knowledgeable AutoSmart team knows all about the vehicles in inventory. They can answer all your questions. Now, all they need to know is what you're looking for. With financing partnerships with every financial institution in the area, they can provide you with a custom financing plan to fit your credit situation and your needs. Get to AutoSmart and get happy with a quality pre-owned vehicle and a customized financing plan. South Main Street in Litchfield or at autosmart1.com.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
We'll see the clouds decreasing as we continue through the day. Some afternoon sunshine plus winds out of the southwest will push our temperatures back into the mid to upper 90s for afternoon highs. There's a small rain chance to help cool a few of us off, but most will stay dry this afternoon. From the Wave 3 News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawny.
Nobody has said it better than Shakespeare. Imagination, your mind's eye recalling the horror, the bravery, and the resolve of 9/11.
Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
Looks like 6-7 floors were taken out. And there's more explosions right now. Hold on, people are running.
Hold on just a moment. We got an explosion inside.
The building's exploding right now. You got people running up the street.
Okay.
I'll tell you what's going on.
The victims were in airplanes or in their offices. Secretaries, businessmen and women, military and federal workers. moms and dads, friends and neighbors.
That's a 10-4. We got a second tower down.
Thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil, despicable acts of terror. These acts of mass murder were intended to frighten our nation into chaos and retreat. But they have failed. Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation.
We're going to just keep digging. We're going to keep trying to reach them. We're going to keep seeing if we hear noise, keep seeing if we can pull people out of there alive.
America was targeted for attack because we're the brightest beacon for freedom and opportunity in the world. And no one will keep that light from shining.
So it is Patriots Day today. Here's today's Did You Know? I found this interesting this morning. I'd never heard this before today. That the two beams of light which shoot out of lower Manhattan every year in tribute to those killed on 9/11 risk the lives of 160,000 birds annually. So the birds are drawn to the lights and they're pulled off course from their yearly migration.
Wow.
And so they have to turn those lights off. When they estimate there are 1,000 birds trapped in the light beams, they turn them off for 20 minutes to let the birds find their way again before turning the lights back on. I had no idea.
The things you don't expect when you plan something.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, but we've seen those iconic
Sure.
photographs of those lights
And I
being
love the
on.
lights.
And that's absolutely.
But
And
who
now
would have
there's that
thought?
new tower that's there, which is kind of in its place. And they're still using the lights, but they don't use the lights all the time, of course. But that's something that they have to take into consideration when they use
I
to
didn't know
commemorate.
birds were drawn to light. Bugs, but not birds.
I'd say bugs too, but they don't worry about the bugs. Just worried about the birds. Here's today's water cooler question. This is going to be your chance to win 4 tickets to the Friday show of Bourbon and Beyond. That's Friday, September 20th, so a week from Friday. That'll be Bourbon and Beyond. 4 tickets for you up for grabs if you can solve today's water cooler question by calling 270-259-6000, 270-259-6000. On any given day, 75% of school kids will lie to their parents about this. On any given day, 75% of school kids will lie to their parents about this. 270-259-6000, 270-259-6000. On any given day, 75% of school kids will lie to their parents about this. J-Lo is at the top of the NFL Super Bowl halftime performers list. So we know that Jay-Z is now involved in entertainment for the NFL, so he will have a hand in deciding who does the Super Bowl halftime show. We had heard that Rihanna was desired, but not sure if she would. But Jay-Z may be going after J-Lo. Maybe then next year they can get J-Law. We'll just go through the J's.
Works for me.
You can call me Jay. You can call me Ray. You can call me. Michael Jordan is donating $1 million to Bahamas hurricane relief.
Nice.
Well, good on you, Michael Jordan. Good job. Jason Momoa and Alfre Woodard are starring in the trailer for Apple's new drama series. They had already rolled out the trailer for the Jennifer Aniston, Steve Carell, Reese Witherspoon on Apple TV Plus, I think it's going to be called. And now they have a new drama starring Jason Momoa in it. So I guess Apple's getting serious about...
Sounds like it. I'm still ready for
about the
Disney.
deal.
So
Yeah, theirs is coming out. Well, so Disney will kill Netflix, in a month or so? I don't know.
stand by for the slaughter.
Good morning, Shanda. On any given day, 75% of school kids will lie to their parents about this. What is it?
Homework, or if they have a test.
Homework is correct.
Good job,
More
Shanda.
specifically, how much homework they have. You got homework? No, I think I got it all. I did it all at school. Yeah. Liar. 3 out of 4 kids are not telling the truth.
You even lying kids.
That's right. Congratulations, Shanda. Hold on. We're going to get some information from you. Did you see the big Apple announcement yesterday?
Yeah, I did. I saw it this morning.
The Apple launch from Cupertino. We're getting a new Apple Watch that's out. But the iPhone 11, the biggest deal is The iPhone 11 will have tri-camera. So it will have three away-facing cameras. And if you look at it, so now there are a lot of memes in the last 24 hours.
Sure.
The camera array looks like a fidget spinner.
Right. Which I have to ask the inventor, is that where you got this
idea?
idea?
Did the fidget spinner,
Right.
did it? I did. There were a couple of memes, like one said, this camera is for the FBI, this camera is for the NSA, and this camera is for the CIA. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
There was somebody who had taken the camera array and made it look like stove burners.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
put like a pan of bacon or something frying on it. Some people said it looked like the three holes on a bowling ball,
right?
That you could bowl. It looks like that in doing it, but no 5G. I think the game-changing iPhone is a year from now.
Sure.
That's what I believe is likely going to happen.
I think this is going to interest people who use their iPhones for camera work.
Yeah,
video,
I
those
can
kinds
see
of
for
things.
videography and things, I can see it being a game changer because it's going to be a lot better, but we'll see how it goes. Got to get to a break. We're commemorating Patriot Day and the events 18 years ago today. We'll get to a break. We'll come back and wrap it up for the morning here on In the Know.
Hey guys, if I asked you to tell me about your favorite hobby or sport, how long do you think it would take? You could probably talk to me for hours going on and on about your favorite athlete or the mountains of data analyzed to win your fantasy football league. You might be able to tell me anything I'd ever want to know about comic books, rock climbing, or rebuilding cars. But what if I asked you to tell me about your wife? How long would that take? Would you have a lot of praise and unique things to share, or would you run out of things to say in about 30 seconds? The truth is, we give our attention to things that matter to us the most. So if you'd have a hard time saying something insightful or meaningful about your wife, maybe it's time for you to discover more about her. Guys, as you're striving to be an expert in one area or another, let your wife be at the top of your list. Work as hard at learning about her as you do your favorite hobby or the sports team you follow. Learn her love language. Remember her likes and dislikes and take note of the little quirks that make her uniquely her. Or try this. Ask her questions about her dreams or her biggest fears. Then sit back and listen closely. Your wife is a bottomless well of discovery. If you'll take a little time and dig, there's always something more to know about who she is. Become an expert in understanding and cherishing your wife. For Focus on the Family, I'm Jim Daly.
Hey, is that a pumpkin spice latte?
Maybe.
Someone is clearly excited for fall.
Hey, don't judge. Besides, who doesn't love fall? The hay rides, the cute fuzzy boots, the $120 you can save on any smartphone at Bluegrass Cellular.
$120 off? That's a deal I can cozy up to.
I know. It's the perfect time to save on any smartphone, even the latest and greatest models. It's the best way to kick off the fall season.
The fall season hasn't begun yet, dear.
Ha! Well played. It doesn't change the fact that I've been waiting for this all year.
The smartphone deals or the pumpkin spice latte?
Both, honey. Both.
Restrictions apply. Offer available online or in store.
Bluegrass Cellular. Your community. Expanded.
Louisville, Kentucky, Louder Than Life returns September 27th through the 29th. Highland Festival grounds at the Kentucky Expo Center with Guns N' Roses, Slipknot, Disturbed, Rob Zombie, Godsmack, Marilyn Manson, plus Stain and Ice Cube. Go to louderthanlifefestival.com for all ticket and lineup information. Louder Than Life.
When I found out my son was addicted to opiates, I was terrified. I really didn't know where to turn. If there was going to be some hope for his recovery, he was going to have help. Thankfully, we found hope and help. And now our son is in recovery. If you have a friend or a family member with a substance use disorder, start at this website, hopeandhelpky.com. That's how we'll get through this together.
Once again, we see terrorism. We see terrorists. They can destroy buildings, they can kill people, and we will be saddened by this tragedy, but They will never be allowed to kill the spirit of democracy. They cannot destroy our society. They cannot destroy our belief in the democratic way.
I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you. And the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
We are grateful to the many nations who are standing with us tonight. Together we will defeat this most insidious of threats. We will be fierce in the defense of our ideals.
Our way of life is a great deal stronger and will last a great deal longer than the actions of fanatics, small in number and now facing a unified world against them. People should have confidence. This is a battle with only one outcome. Our victory, not theirs.
You can be sure that as terrible a day as this is for us, we will get through it because we are a strong nation, a nation that believes in itself.
Freedom and fear are at war. The advance of human freedom, the great achievement of our time and the great hope of every time, now depends on us. Our nation, this generation, will lift a dark threat of violence from our people and our future.
Hardship and heartbreak are not new to us. We Americans have endured great challenge and struggle, yet none has ever broken us. Our greatness in times of trouble is what distinguishes us as a nation.
Let us choose to oppose any action which gives comfort or rest to those that help to precipitate this great tragedy. We honor the fallen with unity and the support of action which brings justice.
So there will be a plethora of coverage tonight on various channels across the spectrum of 9/11 commemoration. I will be watching tonight. It's called 9/11 Inside Air Force One. It's a 2-hour History Channel program. It says a first-time look inside the flight deck of Air Force One and the unique vantage points where the nation's leaders struggled with the unforeseen nature of the deadly attack. It'll be some of the firsthand account we've already had from President Bush. But you'll remember he was speaking to a group of school children in Louisiana, and there's that chilling video of when someone walks in and whispers in his ear, and his body language immediately changes. It's still chilling to watch it to this day. But then the level of scramble when all the aircraft were being grounded and they weren't sure what to do with Air Force One. They weren't sure where to go because they didn't quite know entirely what was happening. So I'm very intrigued about that tonight. If you're a younger person, I would encourage you to go watch on HBO. It's called In the Shadow of the Towers. Stuyvesant High is 3 blocks from Ground Zero, and these were high school students at the time, and it talks about their perspective and what happened and when the dust cloud came sweeping across their school. And so if you're a younger person, you're not quite sure why this is such a big deal to all of us, maybe from someone who's closer to your age, you might appreciate. And then if you don't want to watch any of this stuff, if you're observing the No News is Good News Day, the season 1 finale of BH 90210, the reboot, is on Fox tonight. I watched the first one a few days ago.
I hear
It's
that
not
it,
good.
yeah.
It's not good.
I heard those who are diehard BH 90210 fans, they're like, okay, I'm going to give it one more shot.
And the thing for me is I watched it and I thought, did I watch this when I was a kid? It didn't come on until 1990, I don't think. So I was kind of on the tail end of that. Or do I just understand the legend of it? Because when I watched it, I thought, this just doesn't appeal to me.
Other than Saved by the Bell, were there any other teenage shows or shows about teenage groups of kids?
So I didn't watch 90210. I did watch Saved by the Bell. I don't know.
I know there were some
Can't
movies,
remember.
but like Breakfast Club and all that jazz, but I don't think there were any shows. So I think that was the draw to it.
Today's highlight in history is obvious. We won't beleaguer the point there. Also, this date, 1789, Alexander Hamilton was appointed the first U.S. Secretary of the Treasury. The Carol Burnett Show premiered this date in 1967. Ford Motor Company introduced the Pinto this date in 1970. It was discontinued in 1980. Had a good 10-year run.
It did.
But
We've got a T-shirt though to commemorate. We really do.
Did it?
We have a
Yeah,
Pinto
it was
t-shirt.
it was an economical version of the Mustang, is what they were going for. It's like, well, we've got this Mustang, so let's roll this Pinto out. But as I understand, it had a tendency that if you rear-ended it, it had a tendency to catch on fire. I think that was
That's frowned upon.
yeah,
by most drivers.
it's not a good experience when that happens. Birthdays today: singer, actress, dancer Lola Falana is 77
What,
today.
what?
Yep. Tommy Shaw from Styx is 66. Leslie Visser is 66. Christy McNichol is 57. Harry Connick Jr. is 52. Ludacris is 42 today.
Luda.
Luda.
Kind of like a bullet for you.
I would recite some lyrics, but I'm not allowed to.
Yeah. No, I gave up profanity decades ago.
Well, I mean, I can say move, but then I can't go any
That's it,
further than
like,
that. It's
yeah.
like, okay, that's got one word. O. Henry was born this date in 1862.
The candy bar?
I was so thinking
yeah.
the same thing.
Bear Bryant in 1913. Ferdinand Marcos in 1917. Tom Landry in 1924. Tom Landry, my favorite NFL head coach of all time.
It's good to know, Mark.
Tom, the firing of Tom Landry is the reason I don't like the Cowboys to this date. 1963, Trini Lopez, number one. With If I Had a Hammer.
I am a rider warning. I am about the love between my brothers and my sisters. All over this land.
No.
Appreciate the message. I'm just
kinda
not
like it a little
sure
bit.
if we take a hammer to everybody, if that's going to really fix our problem.
How about Gilbert O'Sullivan in 1972?
Where people sing, my God.
He sounds like a Beatle.
She stood him up. No point in us remaining.
Looks like Vidal Sassoon.
'Cause I did on my own.
Or Mufasa.
Alone again.
Whichever.
He does look like one of those black-maned lions that they featured on the episode of Serengeti that we watched last night.
They're mean.
By the way, if you didn't get an opportunity to watch Serengeti on the Discovery Channel,
It's really good.
it is amazing.
Yeah, it's really
I
good. I
don't
love it so
know.
much.
I don't know how they did it because I often wonder. I go, there's a camera in their face. How are they acting natural?
Right.
But come to find out, they like put the cameras in rocks and made them look like little flies, like little drone, like
Oh, wow,
dragonflies,
yeah.
and
That's cool.
It's amazing.
I need to see footage of that.
It is so good.
It is amazing
Yeah,
what
it
they
was
were able
really,
to capture.
really good. My cat watches it, so if I'm like in the bed reading.
And the thing is that it's not entirely my cup of tea.
Yeah, no, but it's just the wow of capturing that and being that close is really.
By the way,
my
the baby
perspective.
lions. Oh my goodness, the baby lions are my favorite.
I'm so in love with those.
Do it again.
1981.
That's true.
Lionel and Diana, number one with Endless Love. And Your Eyes.
They tell me how much you care. Oh, yeah.
If our lives depended upon singing karaoke,
Mm-hmm.
right? If we were being held captive and said, if you'll sing karaoke, the two of you can go free, that song would be in the top 5 consideration, maybe in the top 3. True story, right?
Oh, yeah, for me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
For us, if we
Yes,
had to sing
yes.
a duet. That's what I was saying.
Really?
Ba-ta-ta.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We got that one.
Wilson Phillips, number 1 in 1990.
Is it because you enjoy it or you can hit all the notes?
Both.
I do love this too.
Misty, you missed the fantasy phone-in era. If you had been of age during fantasy phone-in, you would feel completely different about Endless Love.
He's not convinced.
No, I gave it a great amount of consideration right then, and no, I would not.
Enrique Iglesias,
This is more my speed.
1999. All right. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Where did it go? All right, ready for MB's Pearl of Wisdom? MB's Pearl of Wisdom comes from Ralph Waldo Emerson, and it's appropriate here on Patriot Day. And it applies to all first responders, all military servicemen, servicewomen, but particularly appropriate for today. MB's Pearl of Wisdom. A hero is no braver than an ordinary man, but he is braver 5 minutes longer. A hero is no braver than an ordinary man, but he is braver 5 minutes longer. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Misty Thomas, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powered by Heritage Media of Kentucky, WKHG Litchfield, Kentucky, USA. 104.9 FM, the Twin Lakes Best Mix, K105. Your news starts now.
Fox News.